Presented by Kamuk Ukulele Magazine, this is Ukulele Stories. Aloha, Bernadette.
Hi, how are you?
Good, welcome to Ukulele Stories. We just figured out that we met at the NAMM show probably around 2018, but that's the only time we've actually met in person. So it's great to have you on. I mean, you're very active online. A lot of people would probably recognize your voice. So, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I think it was definitely before 2020 that I saw you at the NAMM show. I mean, I couldn't not see you with that awesome shiny blazer you were wearing, but I'm very excited to be here today.
Excellent. Well, thanks again. I'm going to hit you with two numbers first up.
All right.
So on Instagram, you have 206,000 followers as of the date of this recording.
Okay.
And you have 636,000 YouTube followers. Those are quite impressive stats. Quite amazing. So my first question is, how has the internet changed your life?
I had no idea the changes that would come. I'm like, my brain is trying to formulate words. So I knew that I wanted to create a channel to help people, and I created two channels first. Both failed. And I was so wondering why I had this yearning to put videos online, yet the videos I was putting weren't really helping anybody and nobody was watching. And then I made this prayer at the end of the year in like 2017 about it. At the time, I was a music teacher teaching abroad in Japan. I was teaching elementary music. And all of a sudden, this idea came to me of like, well, do what you already do, which was teaching music. And I thought, why am I doing these other channels that have to do with travel or Japan when what I'm doing every day is teaching music? So I started a channel teaching music, and at the same time, my commute was about an hour and a half every day. And so I thought I'm going to buy as many audiobooks as I can on business and on marketing and listen to them on my drive. And one of the audiobooks that I heard said that most businesses fail within the first 5 years. However, of the businesses that survive 5 years, most of them thrive. And so I thought, okay, I just have to do this for 5 years. Like maybe my other channels failed because I didn't have the discipline to continue for 5 years. So this time I thought, I'm going to continue this education channel for 5 years, and I'm going to do it without expecting any results. And at first when I started, I knew that I wasn't going to be in Japan forever. So for me, it was almost sort of love letter to my students. Like, here are some videos that you'll be able to watch even when I move back to United States. You can continue learning, even if I'm far away. And then people that I didn't know started watching those videos and making requests for tutorials and for reviews. And at first I was confused. I didn't know why they would want me to teach these videos when there were already some amazing creators in the space. But at the time when I was learning how to do YouTube, one content creator said, but your audience wants to see it from you. Even if somebody else has already talked about the topic, the current event, or whatever it is, your audience wants to see you talk about that topic or teach that song. So then I took that mindset, like, okay, I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to avoid watching the ukulele channels that I had been watching before as inspiration for teaching ukulele in the classroom. I said, I'm going to stop watching these people so that I don't accidentally get inspired or start sounding like them. Because with the audiobooks that I was learning from, a similar note came up every time, which was authenticity is everything. It doesn't matter how long, how short, how expensive, how cheap you make your product, your service. It has to be authentic. And so I stopped watching other channels and I started just focusing on what am I doing in the classroom and how can I do that in my channel. And so when I recorded my videos, I would think about a specific student that had that specific need. And so I made the video thinking, how would I be talking to that one student? So if you notice in my videos, I don't say like, hey guys, or hey everyone, or I don't say that because I'm thinking about one person that I'm making the video for. And I think that that really helped people to learn and to feel like they were authentically with a teacher. And that is a comment I see in my videos. And then as I saw the channel growing, I thought this would be great for me because I wanted to be a mommy one day. for me to do from home so that I could be a mommy and do this at home. And it was my YouTube subscribers who told me to start a Patreon account so that they could support me so that I could do this, especially with some big life changes that happened and I ended up almost homeless. My community said, please start a Patreon account so we can help you.
Wow.
And I said, okay. And so I started the Patreon account and I was so ashamed to like charge for music lessons, especially because having been in Japan, I was blessed enough to be able to travel to parts of Southeast Asia where, $5 is a lot of money to ask for. So I promised myself that anything I put on Patreon was extra, but that all the lessons would still be free on YouTube. And I learned that a lot of people will leave the videos loading overnight so they can watch them in the morning because internet speeds are not the same around the world. So it was very humbling for me to learn how people were making it to watch the videos. And then when I did get pregnant and did announce it accidentally first on a live stream before I even told family, my subscribers came through. Like, they bought a crib, they bought diapers, they bought the clothes for the first year, they bought her first toys, they bought everything. Like, I was ready to have the baby in my home because of my subscribers. Like, they really are the aunties and uncles. And anytime that I've been to a uke event or that I've hosted an event, they come bearing gifts for my baby, and none of that could have happened if it weren't for them. It's like a really long way to answer that. I could have ended up homeless if it weren't for them. So I really owe everything that I have now to the kindness from that community.
Isn't that amazing? I guess the larger online community can be derided for being very negative, but there is a very positive side, and especially with ukulele people, of course, because they are the best.
Yeah.
How did you actually almost end up homeless, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh man, no, I don't mind you asking. I mean, it's on the videos, people were watching my life as it was happening because when I was releasing YouTube like music educational videos, people did say, "Can we see a little bit of your life in Japan?" And at the time, I was married to a military service member, and when we moved back to the States, he said, "I have to be honest with you, I don't see myself ever having children." And in my mind, like, I always saw myself having children, so I thought, ooh, like,
That's a big disconnect.
yes. And his family was like, no, stick with it. Like, he'll come around, or like, what if you, get pregnant and, once the baby comes, he'll be so happy. And I said to them, you know what? I want to have children with someone who wants them. And so that was the split, but I wasn't ready, for that to happen. I had just quit my teaching job. So for me, like, income was so tight. I landed at my parents' place for a bit, but I felt like I had my animals and all this stuff, and I thought, like, I need to move somewhere. And so my middle school teacher had an apartment that he was subletting. It was on the back of another property on the alley next to like a empty lot with a lot of unhoused people who were stealing my things from the outside. But that's where I was, and my community was like, you need to start a Patreon. We need to help you. So, yeah, it was not an easy 2019 for me, to say the least.
Yeah, well, what a beautiful story to, where you are now.
Thank you. Yes, it was the subscribers that really helped me out. And, I wasn't out there saying what was happening, but they were reading between the lines, so.
Amazing. What's the most difficult part about leading an online community?
With uploading videos comes this sense of this rat race, that you feel like you're always on the hamster wheel. Like, you upload a video, and for me at least, I shouldn't say you, but when I upload a video, I don't get this feeling of completion. I get this feeling of, okay, what's next? And it's never ending. So it is difficult to know when to stop working and when to turn it off. And now that I'm a mom, and my daughter is totally a mama's child right now, like, she loves mommy more than anything else. There's a big feeling of like guilt of, well, I do this so that I can be home, but then she wants mommy 24/7. So it's just feeling like I'm never uploading enough and feeling like I'm never present enough for her. So I know it's a phase right now, but I feel like now that I've done this for how many years? 7 years. I finally am getting a groove that once a week is okay. Because it used to be like every day, I was posting every day, and that's a lot.
It is a lot, and I think it's almost too much now, especially because I mean, there's just so much stuff out there. I'm trying to do this podcast once a month, and that seems like a lot as well. So
Right. I mean, once you commit to a schedule, you're gonna feel it, in the back of your head, like, well, this needs to get done, this needs to get done. So yeah, I don't get the feeling of, oh, I'm done. And I think if that's the hardest part of the job, it's not that hard.
no, I think there's an aspect of that to most jobs, really. I mean, I'm a journalist in my regular life, a magazine journalist, and as soon as you finish one issue, you start another one. There's no end point. Do you encounter any nastiness online? And if so, how do you deal with that from a kind of mental health perspective?
No, not well. There was one of the YouTubers that I was watching in the beginning that I really admired, had one of the nastiest things to say about me once he did talk about me, and I cried.
It's terrible.
I was so disappointed because I really looked up to him, and I'm tearing up now thinking about it. Like, when he talked about me that way, I thought like, oh my goodness, I so looked up to this person and he thinks so little of me. And so I thought about quitting, and I let people know I think I'm going to stop because I respected this person so much. And I thought, like, well, his opinion must be true because he's so knowledgeable on the ukulele and he helps so many people that if he thinks this about me, then I bet everybody else thinks it about me. And so I thought about quitting, and I had announced it to a few people, like, I'm going to stop because this is embarrassing. And I think we all have insecurities, and we try to tell ourselves like that, nobody will notice. Nobody will notice that insecurity. And so whenever there's a hate comment about something that is irrelevant to you, or like just, it's nasty, you can brush it off. But when it's something that you believe about yourself and you hoped nobody would notice, that's when it stings. And so
Yeah.
when I read what he wrote about me and what he was telling other creators, I felt like quitting, and I felt so scared to travel and bump into him at events because I thought like, oh, he's gonna talk to me like that or I'm gonna cry. And then around the same time, I got an offer to do a signature ukulele with a huge brand, and I thought, what is this? Like, here I am thinking about quitting, and this amazing opportunity comes around. Like, this does not add up. And then, I don't know if it was God or an internal voice or what it was, but when I had decided to quit, this voice said, like, think about that one person you're helping. You're gonna quit for that one person? And I was like, oh, well, no, like, I would still want to help that one person. They're like, okay, what about 5? What about 10? Like, would you quit? Even if you're helping one person. And I thought about the amazing stories that I read from people saying, like, I always dreamed of having an instrument that I could play, and I thought I had no rhythm, or I thought I couldn't afford it, or I thought that music was not for me. And after watching your channel, and I'm sure that a lot of creators in this space get those comments too from their community. But for me at the time, I was in Japan and I didn't connect with other creators in person. So online contact is all I had, and I didn't know, I wasn't watching other channels, so I wasn't seeing the comments on their pages. I wasn't seeing that this person was nasty kind of across the board, like equal opportunity employer. He was nasty to a lot of people. And so I was kind of like, okay, you know what? I think this is the worst that could happen, and you can only go up from here. And then the next time that another content creator posted on my page another nasty comment saying that I only had my audience because of my looks, I had to laugh because I was working a full-time job as a music teacher. And then I would go home and work from 8 to 3 in the morning on YouTube. And I thought if it was just for my looks, I wouldn't be sleep deprived. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to have a different mindset. When I meet this guy, he's going to love me. And sure enough, we both got invited to a Uke Fest years later. And I walked in that room. I knew he was going to be in there in the green room. And I thought, I'm going to charm his socks off. And so I went and sat right in front of him and talked to him. And I could tell those first few minutes were so uncomfortable for him. And after that Uke Fest, he was like, "Can I have your number? Can we collab? Can we do this? Can we do that?" And I thought, that's right. Like, and he got to see me. He got to see like I bust my butt with the work that I do. And does my appearance have anything to do with it? Of course it does. Video is visual. But the most important thing is how you make people feel when they're consuming your content. And if you give them a bad feeling, they're not going to recommend you. They're not going to come back. And I'm here now because people keep coming back. And so I knew that wasn't true and I didn't believe it. And I was able to get over it. I've gotten other comments like, oh, yeah, this person was born a man. This is not a real
What?
biological woman, was another one I received.
Insanity.
Yeah. And so I thought, like, this is fine. Like, I don't care. Because I think about the people I'm helping. And when I think about that, I'm like, is this negative comment worth me stopping? No way, So that's how I approach it. Very with my feelings, obviously, but that's how I've approached it.
Well, good for you for standing up for yourself with that guy as well. And I think it's just a common thread with all creative people. I listen to podcasts from Conan O'Brien and, big celebrities, and they always talking about just that one negative comment bringing them down when, they've got 50,000 people cheering their name. They'll just remember that one nasty thing that someone said or that one negative review.
Right.
It's just part of being a creative person, I think. I think we're all quite sensitive when you get down to it. So you were a music teacher in Okinawa. Where did your whole musical journey begin and what led you into that career?
My musical journey began as a second grader playing the recorder.
Like a lot of us.
Uh-huh. And then as a sax player playing in the school's band. And then I loved animals growing up, so I applied to a university with a major for pre-vet and got accepted, and I accepted to go. And the summer right before leaving for college, I worked at this spot that I'm going to call it a spot that had animals. And I found out they were lying to their customers. And so when I confronted management about it, I got yelled at and fired.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that I got fired because the local newspaper picked up on this pattern and did an expose on that place and they shut down. But they exposed everyone that worked there. And I thought, thank God I wasn't there anymore,
That's true. You didn't want to be brought in with that rubbish, yeah.
Oh, imagine, and it's a small community here. Everyone knows everyone by last name or family or affiliation. So, but anyway, that showed me that I was not happy working in the animal industry, even if I love animals. And so I talked to my parents and I said, what should I do? And thankfully, the university that I went to, Cal Poly Pomona, had a music major. My parents said, you love music. You've always been happy there. Go for it. And so I changed my major to music, and that's where I started my path as a music educator. And then the teacher that I started playing recorder with, Mr. Rasmussen, and he taught me saxophone, he wanted to retire and said, hey, Bernadette, I'll hang on to my job until you finish your career, and then you can apply for my job. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's so sweet. Yes, of course, I accept. And so I finished my career. I called him. I told him. He came up to watch me do my senior recital. We were so excited. And then I tried to apply for the job, and I was met with nothing but closed doors. And they went without a music teacher that year, the year that my teacher retired. And he was livid. I was confused. I ended up getting a job at another school, and I had the best time. I started a ukulele program there. But I did feel, again, that inner voice say, this is not it. And so I applied to a job in Okinawa. I had been teaching overseas already. And so I applied to the job in Okinawa. And I missed my interview because I didn't know that they sent me the time in Okinawa that I would be applying.
Oh, no.
So they called me. And I was at home with no makeup on, sweaty hair, and in a t-shirt and leggings. And two of my students had come over because they wanted to give me a going away gift because I had announced that I would only finish the year and not come back. And so I answered the Skype call, and they're all dressed in suits. It's a panel dressed in suits watching me, and I'm looking at them mortified. And they said, it's time for your interview. And I was honest. I was like, you know what? I didn't account for the time difference. I apologize. And I have my students here. They came to visit and they're like, oh, great, put them on. And I thought, okay, girls, here you go. And they're like, can we ask you some questions about your teacher? And I thought, oh no, these are middle school girls. I mean, they obviously we had a good relationship because they were at my house giving me gifts, but you know, middle school girls can be funny and sassy, and I didn't know which way they were gonna go. Especially because, you know, they wanted me to come back another year to their school. But they were so sweet. They were so sweet in the interview. And then I went off to my room and finished the interview quickly. And I got the job, moved to Okinawa. And later I was told that what sold them on it was that my students were at the house. And not necessarily anything they said, but the fact that the relationship was so neat between us, you know, so close that they were going to say goodbye, that's what they wanted for their students. Someone who had really nice relationships with their kids. And I thought, whew, imagine if I had planned it. Yeah, but that's how the musical journey started with me deciding to change careers.
That's funny how things work out, isn't it?
Hmm.
All right, then, more specifically, how about your ukulele story? So, where did the uke come into it?
Yeah, I was a music major, and all of the kids at the dorms would hang out and, you know, play piano and guitar, and a honky tonk saxophone is just not the vibe in a dorm, you know? So one of my friends gave me a ukulele and said, here, like, learn this. But at the time, I was taking 22 units at school, and for music majors, a lot of your classes are only one unit because you have our lesson went here or our lesson there or other smaller classes. And so I had at the time 14 classes to attend a week. And I thought, I don't have the time to learn ukulele. And while I was going to school, I also worked for the university so that I could afford to go to school. And I just didn't have any time. So it ended up in the trunk of my car. At the time, I was seeing that a lot of the people that I went to school with would take summer trips and they would go here or there. And I thought, well, my parents can't afford to send me overseas. And at the time, I was working for the Poly Post, which was our university newspaper. I actually have the little placard they gave me for finishing my time there.
Oh, cool.
And this one professor wanted to put an ad on the newspaper saying to travel to China for free. And I thought, for free, I can do that. And it was in exchange for working overseas and teaching. And I thought, that's great. Like, I'll have this work experience on my resume before even leaving university. Like, what's not to love? And so I went to the meeting and they said, you know, we form teams of duos so that you can be in the classroom with another co-teacher and you're going to teach English to kids from all kinds of English speaking levels. Some of them will learn the alphabet and some of them will learn idioms, and it's everywhere in between. And they said that we like to teach some through song and some through, what was it, like a theater where they act out scenarios, and some through games. And so I thought, okay, I'll do the song team. And they said, great, like you're going to teach songs. And so when we were learning the songs that we would be teaching, it was all a cappella. And I thought it would be so much better if we had like a string instrument for this. And so I thought, okay, ukulele, now's your time. let's bring it out. Let's learn some songs. And I did. I learned some songs on the ukulele so I could go and teach abroad in China because the ukulele is so small. When I took it out there, it was so long ago that everyone who saw ukulele out there said, guitar, guitar, guitar. And I had to explain what it was. And I would let the students borrow it overnight. They were so excited. It was just a really cool time. And I saw how the ukulele would instantly make everyone smile. You walk in with a ukulele, the classroom smiles. They know it's about to be a good time. And so I thought, oh, this is a great icebreaker. Like, I will forever travel with a ukulele now.
All right, well, let's get to the teaching part then. What do you think, have you found, is the most common mistake that beginners make?
One mistake that a lot of my students say is that they can't do it, that they can't do like a specific song. Because once you've made that decision, then yeah, you're not going to. So when we do our lessons via Zoom, the live ones, I do ask them to say like, I can do this, or this is difficult, but here are some tips. Here are some ways to get around it. So that is one of the big things, is that once you've said you can't do it, then you're creating a wall for yourself that you're not going to get past. And then the other one is one that I like to call practicing the mistake. So they'll start at the beginning of the song and play through it. I see you nodding because you know where I'm going with this. They'll start at the beginning of the song and play through it and get to the difficult part and say, oh, I messed up. Let me start over. And then they play it again, stumble on the same part, and start over. And so what I tell them is, what you're doing is you're memorizing the mistake. Like you're teaching yourself how to do the mistake. So one of the things that we often do in the lessons that I teach live is we find what would be the most troublesome part of the song. And let's just work on that one chord or that one chord switch. And let's work it not until we get it right, but until we can't get it wrong. And so I gave the story about, I believe it was Michael Jordan, who would practice 30 free throws, but it had to be consecutively 30 went in. So if you got 29 and missed one, but got the next one, no, that doesn't count. It has to be, you get it right every time. And so I said, have that discipline with yourself that you go to the most tricky part of the song and practice it until it's right every time. And then add one chord after that area. And then once you got that, add one chord before that area, and then continue expanding from the mistake until you can play through the song without any tricky spots. So that's one of the things that we try to work on.
What's one thing then that someone could do today to improve their playing?
I mean, I can go on about, write down your goal or what would be the song that you want to do and practice it every day. But I think anytime that you make contact with the instrument in any capacity, you're going to get better. So just touching the instrument as often as you can and not beating yourself up when you plateau or when you have those moments where life gets hard and you think, oh, I haven't touched my instrument in 3 months. Like, I feel so guilty. Like, that's not the true creative spirit, Get to your instrument when you can. And when life gets tough, even with more reason, get to it. But I notice, like, when I compare myself to the other ukulele players in the space, I think, what am I doing? Why am I even making these videos? Like, they're so much better. But, that's not what it's about. It's not a competition, especially in the ukulele world. It's not a competition. It's just your own personal journey with the instrument.
Yeah, what do you most like about the ukulele world?
I don't know if you experience the same thing, but it doesn't matter where in the world you go to a uke fest, the energy is the same. It's this like happy, joyful, welcoming space. It can be anywhere. If you know that the ukulele people are going to be there, you're going to be in a place where you're going to have a really good time. So I think that's pretty remarkable and pretty amazing. Yeah, my favorite part about the ukulele world is the people. And then, that extends into the artists too. When you meet the artists that are insane in their level and their skills, they're so humble. So humble. And you think, wow, do you know how good you are? And I love seeing the collaboration, with artists, how often you see artists join bands and play together. And I don't know. I think that's what music's all about. So I just love the people in the ukulele world.
Yeah, they're just incredible. I've said it before, there's no other instrument or festival space where you can go to a huge event, see this incredible performer play for an hour, and then an hour later, maybe you're having dinner with them.
Yeah.
Because they're just so humble and friendly, and it's just so welcoming. I was just in Tasmania for the Launceston Ukulele Jamboree, and I was struck by that as well. It's a very small festival, but has exactly the same energy as any giant festival I've been to in America or Hawaii or wherever. So, yeah, I totally agree with you there.
Another thing that I like about the ukulele world is that you can show up with a $50 uke or a $500 uke, and it does not matter.
No.
It does not matter. Like, everyone's welcome. It does not matter what budget you've spent on the instrument. It's just cool. I like that.
Yeah, egalitarian for sure. What about currently then? Who are your favorite ukulele teachers and ukulele performers?
That's a good question.
I was just going to say, you don't have to single anyone out particularly, but I mean,
I was about to.
Well, you can. All right, we'll do that.
Someone that I will always, always, always stop and watch and listen to, especially, thank God for the NAM show where so many of them come and play together. But whenever Chris Fuchigami and his mom are going to be playing, I'm just like, I have to be there. I have to be there. They're so amazing. Their stage presence, their storytelling, their playing level, their synchronicity. Oh my goodness. It is so much fun to watch them. And then, like, to watch Daniel Ho and the heart that he puts into his performances. Oh my goodness. I have never seen anyone perform to where you just feel like this warmth radiating from him. This joy, right?
Totally.
So Daniel Ho is another one of them that for me just makes me, it just gives me chills. And then my friend Yoshi, who's in Japan, and she's about to do a birthday tour. She has just this incredible presence when she sings. So we went to the NAM show together, and when she started playing, like the crowd was just growing and growing and growing and growing because people just had to stop to listen to her beautiful voice. So when I hear her play again, I get chills. So those are some of my favorites that I've seen in person that just captivate me.
What are your thoughts on women in uke? Because there aren't as many as there are male performers. I know I found this when I used to run Kemi Ukulele magazine and the podcast. You know, I kind of have to space out my female guests because there's not as many of them as maybe there should be. Why do you think that is?
This discussion came up last year when I was at the NAM show because I met up with one of my professors from Cal Poly, and he brought up the question about, being a female in a male dominated space. And he said, have you felt any challenges from it? Has it been difficult for you? And I said to him, I think it's the opposite, actually. I think being a female in this space makes me, different. And I said, every single male that I have met in the music world and in the ukulele world has always been so eager to, lend me a hand or put my name out there or recommend me to someone and to help me in some way. The space has been super collaborative, so I haven't seen any hurdles because of it. I can only speak for myself and say that for me right now, I turned down and didn't open myself up for ukulele festivals and events because of where I am in life with my daughter and the fact that she wants me to be mommy full time. I want to be mommy full time. And even though I did travel with her to some ukulele festivals like Port Townsend, they were so gracious to say, like, bring your daughter. That's totally cool. The Huddersfield Ukulele Festival also gave me a green room that was more private so that I could be with my baby. So everyone's been super accommodating, but for me, I'm turning away from live performances and live events because I'm a mom right now. So I wonder if other women who would be performers would be in that space. I also wonder, because I think of some incredible women who are performers now, and I wonder if they're too shy or too humble to put themselves out there to organize like a tour or say like, hey, I'm interested in performing. I'm interested in your ukulele festival, because it can feel like, oh, should I let them know I want to come? Like, is that too, am I imposing myself on them? I don't know. I have no idea because when you look at the audience, it's a huge female audience who are playing ukuleles. And when you look at the artists, it's mostly males.
Yeah, maybe the men are just a little bit more sort of forceful with their applications.
Yeah. Do you think it could be because many of the people who come into the ukulele performance world are coming from instruments like guitar and bass, which are mostly male dominated?
I think that's very possible now, especially since the sort of third wave of uke popularity and a lot of people converting from guitars to ukes. I think that is true, and yeah, overwhelmingly males play guitar, don't they? Yeah, that could very possibly be it. I don't know. I just think we should try to encourage more young women to play as well, just to even it out a bit, which would just make everything more interesting. But yeah, who knows? We're not here to answer the big questions. We're just we're just here to chat. Okay, I see on the wall behind you there, Ukelandia. So you've got a website and a shop as well, isn't it? Called Ukelandia. So how did that come about, and what are your aspirations for that?
Huge shout out to Maria, who is in Spain right now. Around 2019, when I was posting more on the funny side of ukulele content videos and challenges, like play the ukulele on the back of your head or these kinds of funny things. We were starting to make friends with other people online. And Maria was one of the people in the community who was a community builder. Like that's just what she's good at. She's good at bringing people together. And she made a group chat called Ukelandia. And it was so fun. We were just always chatting on there. And when it came time to start the uke shop, I started one first called the Lele shop because I thought Lele was cute, but it just didn't have a ring to it. And I said, Maria, can I use the name Ukelandia? And she said, bro, go for it. Like, it's totally cool. I was like, okay, thank you, because that is so clever, so cute, and I love it.
Do you have plans to expand it and kind of grow the line of stuff you're offering?
I think eventually, for right now, I'm just trying to be more consistent with my video creation. So for right now, it's like it has some ukes and some apparel, and I'm expanding the PDF resources that are on the shop. So for people who want the types of resources that they can print or share with their students, that's what I'm expanding with the shop right now. Eventually, it would be great to add more instruments, but being a mommy makes it challenging. Although Daniela loves to help me once I go to put the fragile stickers on the boxes. So if anybody gets 18 fragile stickers on their one ukulele box, that
You'll
was
know who did
Daniela.
it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, apart from the videos and being a mummy, what do you enjoy in the, I'm guessing, very little spare time that you have?
Yeah, I'm a very boring person. I am just a mom and a worker. Those are the main things that I do every single day. So when people say, "What are your hobbies?" I'm like, "Oh, please ask another question. I'm so boring." I remember Victoria from Jiggy with Biggie for her podcast. She's like, "What do you do for fun?" I said, "Play Sudoku when my daughter's asleep."
Wild.
And I was like, "You know what? Please scratch that question. That's embarrassing." But no, my my daughter's a little older now. And so one of the things that I enjoy doing with her is we go to Bible study and we go to church on Sunday. And she loves it. She loves it. So much so that on Saturday we had a birthday party. And the people that hosted this birthday party rented a huge semi-truck trailer that had AC and like 4 or 5 TV screens, switches and PlayStation and iPads for the kids to play because it's hot here already. You know, you're gonna have a birthday party. All the kids were in there playing games and just having a grand old time. There were like candy bags, everything. Once we left the party, I asked Danny, like, what was your favorite part about the party? And she said, I love seeing my Sunday school teacher there.
Cute.
I was like, oh my goodness, would not expect that as the answer, but okay. All right. Yeah, so that's what we do on our time off on Wednesdays and Sundays. So we go to church.
Nice. What does Daniela think of the ukulele then? Is she a budding star, do you think?
I have no idea which way she's gonna go musically.
Does she like it when you play, though?
My daughter is more of a dancer, I will say now. When she has to express herself with joy or with happiness, she gets up and she makes up a dance. And when I play, her way of jumping in with me, because I've tried giving her the shaker or giving her the ukulele to hold and to do what mommy does. Nah, that does not interest her at all. She wants to dance whenever I'm playing or whenever somebody else is playing or whenever even if she eats food that's so delicious, she has to get up and dance to it. Like that is in her bones. So I did sign her up in a dance school last year. And she had her first performance on a stage in Mexico. And I thought, is she going to panic, with the lights and the sounds and, the audience and everything? No, she stepped right front and center. She thought she was the main character and danced her little heart out at 3 years old. And I thought, oh, okay, we're fine. And now she's been in more stages and parades and performances, and she loves it. So, I mean, I think she'll learn music because she has a music teacher mom, but I think right now what I'm seeing is that her like passion is going to be more through movement.
That's great. I mean, the world needs more dancers as well as ukulele players. All right, we'll come to the final question then. What does the ukulele mean to you?
Oh my goodness. It means everything to me. Everything. Oh man. I don't know why when you asked that question immediately I thought of a Pepe Romero tiny tenor ukulele. I'm gonna tear up again. You're gonna think, wow, that girl is so emotional. I never do this. I don't know why I'm so teary today. We were pregnant with my daughter and we decided to have a baby moon. It's like a honeymoon, but a baby moon before you have your baby. And we decided to take a road trip to Colorado. And one of my friends who worked in a ukulele company said, "Hey, when you're out here, come out, I'll show you some spots." I thought that was so sweet of him to want to do that, all because of the ukulele. Like, we had a friend to meet up with in Colorado. And we met up with him. We had a great time. But we went to a music shop and I saw a tiny tenor. And I told my husband, I'm like, oh my goodness, look at this. It's so amazing. I started just melting over it. And I grabbed it and I played it. And I said, isn't it so amazing? Like, I love it. And he said, you should buy it. And I said, we can't afford it. Like, we're about to have a baby. We shouldn't buy it. And he's like, come on, it's okay. Like, we'll make it work. And I thought, no, like, I responsibly cannot do this. Like, we are like a month away from giving birth. No, not happening. I said, thank you for the sentiment. That's really sweet, but no, not happening. So I was like, let's get out of here before you buy it. I'm very lucky with my husband. So we walk away. And then I think it was like a year later, I met Pepe Romero Jr. and he gave me a tiny tenor, a mango tiny tenor. And when I got it, like, I almost cried because I thought about that moment in that music shop and how I said, no, like, no, we can't afford it. And then here we have the maker sending one to me, and I just thought, oh my goodness, this is the best gift I've ever received. Like, this is so incredible, so amazing. I was so grateful. And that's just the ukulele community, like, there's so much kindness in this world that it's overwhelming. Like, I just felt like, what can I do to, like, return the favor? But that's not how Pepe Romero gave it to me. He just gave it to me. He's like, here, if you want to use it, like, no strings attached. And of course, I use it all the time. I love it. I love it. And I share it with everyone that comes and visits. But that's just the ukulele world. It's so kind.
Yeah. Well, again, it's funny how things work out, and I'm glad things have worked out well for you. Thank you very much for having a chat to me on Ukulele Stories.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope to meet up in person again.
I'll be sure to be wearing a jacket of some description.
I will match you then. I'll bring the sparkle too.
Okay.
Ciao.
You can find Bernadette on YouTube under the title Bernadette Teaches Music. To take us out, here she is with an instrumental called Cha Cha Cha. I'm Cameron Murray. Until next time, keep smiling and keep strumming.